Ever woken up in the middle of the night with cold sweats running down your spine? Perhaps because you thought there was someone in there standing over you like a shadow figure. You know what I mean. I'm sure these days most of us write this off as a figment of our imagination. But what if I tell you that it isn't? What if I tell you of a being named Bezaliel, a fallen angel that lurks in the dark and seems to get its kicks off of haunting people, especially when they're alone and vulnerable in the dark? You see what I mean now? While we find nothing most of the time, it's mostly because we're not aware of who this mysterious angel is and why he's imposing such fear upon those he chooses to haunt. Those who may have found this interesting before may also be fascinated by the fact that this mystifying spirit was once the angel of shadows who was even the shadow of God before lust brought about the disaster that not only changed his fate as he was sent plummeting hard and fast from grace. The entire world at the time ceased to exist due to the actions of Bezaliel and a host of his fellow angels. Let's leaf through the pages of the Book of Enoch and immerse ourselves in the shocking secrets that reveal the truth of the shadow demon known as Bezaliel. As we mentioned earlier, although this spirit spends its nights lurking in the corner as it sends fear shivering down the spine of unwitting victims, it might be fair to assume that this isn't what the spirit itself would have believed it would end up doing till eternity. That's because long before he was condemned to this fate, Bezaliel actually held an exalted position among the angels, as he was known to be the angel of shadows. Not only that, he was even the shadow of God. It's believed that this gave him the ability to personify the shadows and shades of creation, and it's believed that this also gave him the ability to take away the sense of loneliness, to bring warmth and comfort to lonely people in the fall of our shadows. Considering that it's a shadow, it might interest you to learn that due to his dark appearance, nobody has ever known or seen what this angel of shadows looks like. No angel would reveal his true form, and no amount of light could ever break through that dark facade. Only his eyes are visible as they flare up when he's stressed. This must have occurred a lot of times because although he has the power to influence the emotions of humans around him, he was also sensitive to their pain, suffering, and other negative emotions which left him stressed a lot of times. Regardless of his moody plight, before he was condemned to stalking humanity for eternity, Bezaliel also held high positions among angels. According to accounts found in the pseudegraphical text that is the Book of Enoch, he was the 13th of the 20 leaders that took command of a group of angels that were charged by God to monitor mankind. This was a long time ago, at a time just after Adam and Eve had been expelled from the Garden of Eden. Several generations later, humanity finally landed on its feet and pleased God. As a result, he charged Bezaliel and the Watchers with keeping an eye on the humans as the years go by, never to interrupt with their activities no matter what occurs as the Watch. Unfortunately, this task seemed too difficult to follow for even the angels of God to fully obey. This proved difficult because these Watchers began to lust over humans. This lust drove them to the point where they decided to descend on the earth to claim some of these women for themselves, but only after they convinced their leader, a Watcher named Samjasa, to join them as they disobeyed God. Following this disagreement, the angels descended from the skies and wasted no time in taking these women as their own. Unfortunately, this act of gross disobedience led to the destruction of the world as everyone at the time knew it. Not only did the unholy union of women and angels give birth to the Nephilim, a savage horde of violent giants that consumed and destroyed everything that moved on Earth, even the humans and their own kind, the Watchers also went on to introduce the humans things God had no intention of introducing the humans to. Things like witchcraft and sorcery, cutting up of roots and chanting incantations, weaponry, and warfare. Although Bezaliel wasn't especially mentioned as being a major perpetrator, the story goes that he suffered the consequences of this disobedience with the other Watchers once God learned of what was happening among his creations. Immediately, God first instructed Archangel Uriel to inform Noah, who just happened to be the great-grandson of Enoch, to hide himself from the world in preparation for the upcoming great flood that would sweep all the sin away from the world. Next, he turned his attention to a watcher called Azazel, who seemed to take special pleasure in corrupting the humans. He instructed Archangel Raphael to find Azazel and bind him and cast him into the deepest pits out in the deserts east of Jerusalem. Some believe he may still be there as we speak. After instructing Raphael, God instructed Archangel Gabriel to rid the world of the Nephilim. Interestingly enough, he was able to do this by making them turn on themselves. Finally, he instructed Archangel Michael to inform Samjaza and his fellow Watchers that he and the other Watchers will never know peace for the rest of eternity for their actions. Not only will they watch all their children, Nephilim and angelic children alike, get killed off for several generations, they'll be bound to the lowest pits of hell where they shall suffer for all eternity. Following this, although it is believed that all the Watchers are suffering in perpetuity in the darkest pits of hell, it's also believed that this fall from grace had further adverse effects on the individual Watchers. Bezaliel was no exception, as his department from God's very presence turned him to something of a spectre that imposes anxiety and fear to all in his presence. With his ability to give warmth and comfort becoming corrupted, now all he does is cast fear and loneliness to all, even himself, as he soon withdrew into his own solitude, hateful of the presence of others around him. Such is the hatred of others that it is known that he only follows others just to gain pleasure from their fear. Nonetheless, the figure still remained as mysterious as ever as he lurked in the shadows. Furthermore, after his fall, he added more mystique by adding a pair of mysterious artifacts to his collection. First is a sheathed sword that nobody can accurately trace its origin to or has ever seen drawn. However, it's believed that he obtained it after the fall, as he took from the first of many angels he killed because they were still loyal to God. The other artifact is a mysterious book that nobody has ever read before. However, there is belief that it records the pain that he and his fellow angels suffered as they fell from grace, a pain that is said to have destroyed the very fabric of his mind. Looking at the corruption that lust had brought to such a prominent figure in heaven shines a bright light on such a dark turn. Going from being the angel of shadows to becoming the prince of darkness must be a harrowing turn, especially for Bezaliel, the one who experienced it. Nonetheless, even after causing a world-ending event, the spirit shows no remorse as he continues to bring fear and loneliness to all he comes across, just to satisfy his sick pleasures. So anytime you feel an inexplicable shiver down your spine when you're alone in the dark, be wary. Bezaliel might just be watching you. With that, our video has come to an end. Why don't you let us know what you think in the comments section? Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel if you like our content. Till later, goodbye.